Welcome back, movie lovers. Today we're diving into a heart-pounding survival thriller where a group of friends boards a shark tour only to find themselves stranded in the open ocean. But the sharks aren't the only danger, because one of them is hiding a deadly secret. Let's get into it. The story starts in Australia, where two tourists, Greg and Heather, come to the beach for a special tour. This tour isn't a regular one, but cage diving with sharks in the water. As soon as they arrive, a local vendor, Dave, stops them and warns them. Last time a college boy nearly died, a shark attacked him right on his back. But Greg and Heather think it's a joke and ignore it. That's when the tour guide Tucker shows up. He asks Greg and Heather some questions and learns. Neither told anyone they were here. Tucker jokes about it, and everyone gets on his boat. During the trip, Tucker shares his scary past with sharks. He says he's been swimming with them since he was a kid. He even shows them a big scar on his body. When the boat reaches the spot, Tucker starts tossing meat called chum into the sea. Heather gets really scared. When she sees a shark fin on the water surface, her fear grows bigger. She says she's terrified. Tucker tries to calm her by telling her to meditate. Suddenly, a baby shark song plays. Heather is shocked at first, but then laughs. Her fear eases a bit. Then they're put in an iron cage and lowered into the sea. Sharks are all around. Seeing so many teeth, Heather gets scared again. When she panics, Greg gently explains things to her. Together, they watch the beauty of these huge sharks swimming in the water. This moment feels magical for them, but the magic doesn't last long. Soon they return to the boat. Heather is thrilled with her first shark diving experience. Then suddenly, Tucker pulls out a knife. Before anyone can react, he stabs Greg with it. Then he throws Greg's body into the sea. Heather screams loudly, but it's too late. The next day, a new person enters the story, an American surfer girl named Zephyr. She's enjoying the waves in the sea. Later at a grocery store, she meets a guy named Moses. He's asking for a jumper cable, but they're out of stock. Moses asks Zephyr if she has any cables. She lies and says no. Then she pays for her cheap slushie and leaves. But outside, we learn she hid an entire ice cream tub in that cup. As she heads to her van, Moses stops her and says, "Give me a ride or I'll tell the store about your theft." Reluctantly, Zephyr lets him into her van. During the drive, Moses keeps talking, which annoys Zephyr, and she tells him to be quiet. But when they reach Moses' car, he sees a surfboard on top of it. They start chatting about surfing. Slowly, Zephyr realizes Moses isn't so bad. Moses admits he wouldn't have told anyone about her theft, even if she didn't give him a ride. Zephyr jump-starts his car from her van. As soon as the car starts, music plays. They both realize they like the same music. That night, they get closer in Zephyr's van. As a joke, Moses tosses Zephyr's keys out the window. They talk for a long time and get to know each other better. Later, Moses goes to his house to make breakfast, but when he steps outside, he sees Zephyr's van is gone. Meanwhile, Zephyr has reached the beach. She's ready to surf, but realizes she forgot her fin key. She quickly searches for the key in a nearby truck. Suddenly, the truck's owner catches her. It's Tucker. Tucker gives Zephyr his extra key. He praises her, saying, "Only brave people surf alone at this hour." But as soon as Tucker leaves, Zephyr gets a message from Moses. "Why did you leave without telling me?" Zephyr replies she wanted to catch the morning waves. When Moses asks if he can join, she hesitates, but then everything changes. Tucker returns. This time he puts a bag over Zephyr's head and drags her away. Zephyr shakes with fear, but Tucker doesn't stop until she passes out. Then Tucker gives her an injection. He tapes her mouth shut. He hides her in a box on a surfboard and puts it in the backseat of his truck. He drives straight to the shore. There, Dave's dog keeps barking at Tucker as if sensing something wrong. Tucker quickly puts Zephyr on his boat and locks her inside. Hours later, Moses arrives at the spot looking for Zephyr. He only finds her unregistered van. He calls repeatedly, but the phone is inside the van. Zephyr wakes up. She's in a room handcuffed. The heater is off and a bucket is in the corner for urination. Zephyr screams for help, but only Tucker hears, enjoying his breakfast and smiling at her cries. Zephyr sees another girl's name on the wall in the locked room. She realizes Tucker has done this before, kidnapping many girls. Zephyr tries to find something to open the handcuffs, but there's nothing around. Heather is sad and says no one will come to find me. Zephyr feels her situation is hopeless too. Both are now completely alone. Meanwhile, Moses is heading to work when he sees Jaffer's van being towed. He gets suspicious and goes to the police station. He tells them it's Jaffer's van, and it's odd for her to vanish. But when police ask for Jaffer's full name, Moses goes quiet because he doesn't know it. Without a name, the police can't file a report. Heather cries on the boat. She feels she'll never see her mother again. She says, "I should have listened to my mom." Her mother had told her not to take a gap year, but now it's too late. Jaffer shares that she grew up in a foster home. She came to Australia to escape her old life. She's even been to jail before. When things get heavy, Jaffer makes a joke, and Heather laughs for the first time. Then Jaffer notices Heather's bikini top, which has an underwire, a metal piece used for fitting clothes. Jaffer asks Heather for the top. Heather tosses it to her without hesitation. Jaffer pulls out the wire and starts picking the handcuff lock. But then Tucker enters the room. He gives them sandwiches and water. Then he sits very close to Jaffer. He talks about fierce hunting animals in the sea. For a moment, Jaffer sweats. Then he leaves the room. Jaffer throws the top back to Heather. She tries again to open the handcuffs with the wire, but her health worsens. Her head spins and the wire slips from her hand. Heather also passes out. It's clear Tucker put something in the water. Tucker returns and snatches the underwire from Jaffer. Jaffer can't speak and faints. After a while, Jaffer wakes up. She's now tied to a chair with handcuffs on the boat's deck. Tucker is setting up a camera and lights. Heather is there too, tied to a crane's chain. The air is filled with silence and fear. Tucker says God isn't in the sky. He's in the sea. He tells Jaffer he's seen her surfing before. Then he cuts Heather's hair and wakes her up. Heather is terrified when she comes to Tucker, praises the sharks. He says people make scary stories about them, but they're great hunters. Then he starts the crane. Heather slowly lifts above the water. Half her body is out, and half is in Tucker's camera. Is rolling. He films Heather's face and waits quietly for the sharks. In seconds, a shark leaps from the deep sea. It destroys everything. Jaffer screams and cries, but nothing can be saved. In front of her eyes, Heather dies a painful death. Tucker turns the camera to Jaffer and smiles. This is the best show on earth. Soon, Jaffer is locked back in the room. She feels broken. She writes her name and Heather's on the wall. Then she notices a newly painted spot. She scratches it with her nails and thousands of names appear. In the dining room, Tucker dances drunk as if celebrating a victory. He enjoys killing people. He records every victim. Heather's videotape is stored in a box with her hair. The box is kept in a closet where tapes of many girls are stored. Tucker takes out a new tape and writes Jaffer on it. In the sea, Heather's body floats slowly forever. The next day, Moses goes surfing, but keeps thinking about Jaffer. He's upset because he knows nothing about her. Then he finds a broken surfboard near the rocks. It makes him think Jaffer might have had an accident. Meanwhile, Tucker brings breakfast for Jaffer. Jaffer kicks his tray and insults him. Tucker defends his actions, saying sharks are part of the ecosystem. They have a right to eat. But Jaffer isn't moved by his words. She says, "You think you're a big hunter, but you're just a bug." Her words hit Tucker hard. He quietly leaves. After this, Jaffer notices a metal handle in the urine bucket. She breaks it off. That evening, while Tucker eats dinner, he watches a video of his victims. He fills a syringe with anesthetic and heads to Jaffer's room. As he's about to inject Jaffer, she attacks his neck with the handle. Tucker falls back, hits his head, and passes out. Jaffer grabs the key from his pocket and frees herself, but Tucker wakes up again. He tries to grab her. Jaffer runs and tries to shut the door, but Tucker stops it. She races up the stairs, but Tucker grabs her leg and injects her. Jaffer kicks him hard. Tucker falls and she runs to the control room. She tries to call for help on the radio but gets no response. Then she spots a cruise ship passing by. Jaffer goes to the deck and screams for help, but loud music plays on the cruise, and no one hears her. Tucker comes with a knife. Jaffer grabs the camera and throws it into the sea. This distracts Tucker, and Jaffer jumps into the water, but the injection takes effect and she passes out. Tucker pulls her back. The next day, the police start looking for Jaffer. Moses gets an idea. He opens an app called Wave of Watch, which shows live beach footage. He checks the night's recording and sees Jaffer's van being towed by a truck. Zooming in, he sees Tucker experience written on it. He searches the company online. Meanwhile, Tucker goes to the pier to pick up supplies. Zephyr wakes up from behind and screams for help, but her mouth is taped again. Moses finds a number on the website and calls the boat. Tucker isn't there, so he leaves a message. Tucker buys a new camera and returns to see a new tourist, possibly his next target. Moses arrives at the address from the website. He knocks on the boat's door. No one answers. As he's about to leave, he hears a voice from under the couch. He breaks the glass and enters. He searches for Zephyr with a hook. Finally, he finds her in the room. Zephyr says call the police after he removes her tape, looks for something to open the handcuffs. Moses runs upstairs and calls 911, but Tucker pushes him hard. Moses tries to escape, but Tucker is stronger. He snatches the phone and drops it. Tucker kicks Moses to the ground and stabs a hook into his chest. Then he kicks his face, knocking him out. But Moses doesn't give up. He grabs a bag and hits Tucker's face. Then he strangles him with the hook. Suddenly, Dave arrives and knocks Moses out. Dave hears Zephyr's voice. He starts searching for her, but as he gets close, Tucker hits his head with a hook and then kills him. Tucker's dog is nearby. It barks constantly. Tucker scares it away and locks the girl's room. Then he takes the boat to an island called Hangman's Shoals. Later, Moses wakes up. He's tied to a bed next to Zephyr. Moses asks why she left him that night after everything. Zephyr says it was for the waves, but Moses knows it's her fear of commitment because she hates herself. He tells her he likes her as she is. Then the boat stops and Tucker enters. He knocks Moses out again. When Moses wakes, he's tied to Dave's body on the deck. Zephyr is tied to a chair with a hook and begs Tucker for mercy. Tucker ignores her. He starts the crane and slowly lowers Moses into the water. Hungry sharks are waiting. Zephyr is terrified. She tells Tucker to let Moses go and take her instead. Tucker mocks her and puts Moses in the water. He goes to get his new camera. Zephyr tells Moses not to move. As he stays still, the sharks lose interest and swim away. Furious, Tucker returns and stabs Moses, causing blood to flow into the water. The sharks return. A helicopter appears, searching for Zephyr. Tucker stops everything and locks Moses and Zephyr in the room. Zephyr fears Moses might die from blood loss. She takes a bold step. She cuts her thumb to slip her hand out of the handcuffs. Tucker returns. He feeds her and says, "You're a shark like me." Then he leaves. At night, Tucker brings an injection to knock her out, but Zephyr is gone. Her thumb is on the pillow. She sneaks out and locks the control room door and starts the boat. Tucker escapes through an emergency hatch and cuts the power, stopping the boat. Zephyr sees a party on a nearby island and searches for a flare to signal for help. Tucker returns, but Zephyr shoots a flare at him and runs. She locks herself in the kitchen, climbs on the counter, and breaks the skylight glass to escape. As she tries to climb out, her bandage gets caught. Tucker enters the kitchen and pulls her down. They slip. Zephyr stabs his hand with a pen and kills him, dropping him to the floor. She runs away. Tucker goes to the deck, turns on the light, and sees Zephyr swimming to the island. He grabs a harpoon but can't see her. He takes a speedboat and chases her. As Zephyr reaches the shore, Tucker jumps on her, knocks her out, and brings her back to the boat. Meanwhile, Moses wakes up tied to a chair and sees Zephyr hanging over the sea. Tucker pours water on Zephyr to wake her and talks about fish fighting for survival. A shark approaches because of Zephyr's blood, and Tucker readies the camera. As the shark nears, Zephyr kicks it and it swims away. Angry, Tucker tries to stab the shark with his hook, but it escapes with it. Zephyr grabs the hook and climbs the crane with it. As she tries to escape, the shark returns below her. Tucker scares her, and Zephyr falls into the water. She sees the shark coming, but it stares at her for a moment. Maybe sensing Tucker hurt her too. The shark leaves without harming her. Zephyr climbs back onto the boat and looks around quietly. She finds Tucker's harpoon and attacks him with it. Tucker falls into the water, and the huge shark returns, swallowing him in one bite. The scene is recorded, but Zephyr's harpoon gets caught pulling her into the water. She lets go in time and gets back on the boat. Zephyr grabs another flare and shouts for help. A ship's horn sounds, meaning someone is coming. She goes to Moses, who's unconscious, and tries to wake him, saying, "Please wake up. Now I have only you." When Moses wakes, he looks into Zephyr's eyes, smiles, and says, "I knew it." Zephyr cries, and the film ends with this scene.